Hey guys, this week's theme is all about reflection, and considering right now it's New Year's Eve, this seems like the perfect place to reflect because you can never tackle the future unless you've learned from the past. Last year, on New Year's, like it was freshly New Year's, I think it was like 3 in the morning, I was Skyping my friend Zach. Now me and Zach had a complicated relationship at that point. You see, he had had a crush on me since the summer before, and I didn't know about it until December 2013, which would have been a month before what I am speaking of right now. So New Year's Day 2014 at 3 in the morning we were Skyping because he lived far away and I could never see him. And for the first time in my life, I felt loved. Now that might not sound like much to you, but to me it was everything. Me and my confused little brain, I thought that admitting that you were loved and believing that you were loved was selfish for reasons I do not know. And because of that, I just believed no one ever loved me because being selfish was a really big thing to me. So 2014 started with me finally starting to believe that I was loved. And that was the moment God told me that this was going to be a season of redefining love. Now, I didn't know what that meant, despite the obvious in the title, but I also didn't know how long it was going to be. For me, I was thinking an actual season, like winter or spring. So I was like, oh, by the end of winter, maybe by the end of spring, it'll be over. It did a few, like 3 months or something. Little did I know this was going to be very big. Summertime came, and I was on a plane, too hungry by myself, this little 16-year-old who was very, very scared, and I had no idea what I was going to. I had found out about this online. I saw a video the year before, and God told me, you're going. So I got to A Vision for Life, or AVFL, and I found out on the first day, the day after I got there, that it was all basically taking classes during the summer and doing outreach and talking to people you don't know and doing things I've always been terrified to do, and I was like, oh dang it, why am I here? The biggest moment was the outreach I thought I would hate the most, and that was camping. The one Slovenian night, sitting around the campfire, trying to get warm, our leader Caleb read to us Mark 5. But the part that stood out to me was verse 15. Then they came to Jesus and saw the one who had been demon-possessed and had the legion, sitting and clothed and sound of mind. One thing that I never admit because I felt mentally insane was the one thing that always burned into me and sometimes still does. The best way I can explain them is by their title that I've given them, the voices. They were the bullies I never had. They were what tore me down. They were what told me I wasn't worth it, what told me I wasn't loved, and I knew it wasn't me, but I thought it had to, because there was no way it couldn't be me. It got to this point where I literally just couldn't control it. It could make me imagine things I didn't want to imagine, and if I could stop it, I would have, but I was completely under control of it, and I really didn't know what to do. But as I heard Caleb say that verse, I just remember thinking, that's what I want. Sound of mind, that's what I want. And will never have, because I am stuck with this and there's no way I can get out of it. And Caleb gave us this task. We were to write down the one thing we felt like we couldn't get rid of. Whether that was the guilt of a sin, something someone had done to you and you hadn't forgiven, and all these things, and I knew what I had to put down. I really did. I just didn't know if I could. So I made a deal with God. I said, if someone gives me paper and a pen, which I didn't have, then I'll do it. That is my deal. Caleb saw I didn't have a piece of paper, so he gave me one, and I sat there. Finally, I knew I just had to do it. I had to do it now, or I never would. So I asked my friend for a pen, who always had many, and I wrote down in big bold letters, my mind and imagination, parentheses, everything. So I folded my piece of paper to the only thing I know how to do in origami, which is a heart, covered it in black ink, scribbling the best I could, and then I sat by the fire for a few seconds, Finally, I just threw it in, and that was when I felt it. The final battle. I ran down the stairs, afraid of anyone seeing me cry, and which I still have yet to get over. And I found an abandoned swing set that I was looking for. No one barely knew where it was, which was great, but I love swings, so I always kept note where it was. And I just sat there and cried. Those voices screaming louder than they ever had, and I was dying inside. It was the complete final battle. They were just screaming, no, you're worthless, no one loves you, no one cares about you, God is gone, He's not here, no one, you can't get rid of us, we are a part of you, we are you. You can never escape this. And then, this still small voice broke through somehow, just saying, you're worth it, I love you. You're free now. Be with me. Breathe. And it was at that moment there was complete silence. And it is the most beautiful silence I've ever felt. I got a complete redo. I had a complete clean slate. I had a choice what memories I wanted to bring back into my brain and the ability to make better new ones. I came back from AVFL. But I remember this one night in particular where I don't remember what was going on, but I do remember the moment quite clearly. For the first time in my life, I believed that God loved me. God just showed me all the things He had shown me through Zach. He had shown me what love is, how God loves me, and it was miraculous. Because I had seen little snippets, I'd been able to point out that's what love is, with something that Zach might have done, or said, or displayed. But it was in that one moment it all came together, and I just saw what love really was. I realized all this time God had been begging me to love Him. Literally begging. It was amazing for me to think someone was begging me to love them. And I'd seen this in Zach before. I'd seen me get freaked out at times and log off or walk away or whatever, and him just chase after me being like, please just let me love you. Please just let me be here while you're in pain, please. And I realized what this season was all about, this entire year was all about. God wanted to redefine love. So I knew how He had always been loving me. The definition of love had never changed. How He had been loving me had never changed. I just had never realized it. I knew all the things in my head. I knew all the facts. I'm a pastor's kid, so I know what the definition of love, I know how it was displayed on the cross. I knew all of that in my head, but I never really understood that in my heart. So I'm here today to tell you, God loves you. I'm not saying that just because I'm a pastor's kid. I'm not saying that because I'm just all vibed up from all that's happened this year. I'm not just saying that because I'm reading it off of a wristband I got at a VBS. I want you to know that God loves you unconditionally, unfathomably, and in ways you could never deserve. We never earned this love. We never did anything to deserve this love, no matter what you let yourself think. As this year comes to a close, I'd be a liar to say that I'm not afraid of what's happening in 2015. But you know what? From how amazing this year has been, the amazing year of 2014, I'd be a fool to not go into it head first and excited for what God is going to show me in this amazing new season in my life. So I'm here to encourage you. Don't be afraid of next year. Tackle it. Look over what God has shown you in 2014 and all the amazing things He has done, what He has shown you through the tragedies and how He's blessed you through the triumphs and victories, and just go for it. If you like this surprisingly serious video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more stuff like this or not like this, click the subscribe button down there. The link from Brooke's blog post from last Monday will be down there, along with all of our social media links. Love you guys, and I'll write you next week. Happy New Year.